This is it. A new beginning, a new form of life. The very start of something new. Something that I hope I can take with me from this point in my life onward. It's a chance for those new doors to be open and those old doors that we don't want anymore to be closed. This is a chance for action to be taken and dreams to be made into reality. A chance for memories to be made that can last a lifetime or maybe even beyond. So what's the deal? Hi everyone, I'm Harry and welcome to the first video on my brand new YouTube channel. This is actually the third attempt at recording this. I tried earlier in May. Yeah, I know we're in December now. But I just wasn't happy with it. And then I tried again in September and a similar outcome. But third time's the charm, right? I hope so on this occasion anyway. What I want to do with this video is essentially lay down the foundations of what I want to showcase on my channel and also why I decided to create it. So where do I start? Well, I've always wanted to do YouTube. YouTube and television have forever been a massive passion of mine, and I've sort of subtly knew that I've always wanted to do it for a living, but now more than ever I definitely know that. As soon as I got introduced to YouTube, I must have been, I was quite young, maybe 10. It's all I've ever wanted to do. I was pretending to make vlogs in the supermarket and, do some commentary to my gaming, even though it was to nobody, of course, but it's all like the imagination. So I think I did have that fire and desire to always at least attempt this, and now I've got it more so than ever, certainly. The fire and desire faded over time, with the reality of life getting in the way. Secondary school was a big sort of like barrier towards doing this. Primary school was pretty fine, but I wasn't really seriously gonna push that then. I don't think I was mature enough. So at secondary school, I found it quite hard to make connections in terms of out of lessons, but also I really got pressured to do as well as I can in my GCSEs, which makes sense, of course, because that's typically the route into employment. And I remember the assistant head saying to us all, just before we had our GCSEs, he said, "You need to do as best as you can here, because you're not all going to be famous YouTubers when you grow up," and it stuck with me forever. Although I agree, I maybe don't want to be a famous YouTuber, I certainly wouldn't mind doing it for a living. Yeah, I've just got that quote in my head now, and as well as struggling with the connections at school, it didn't really give my confidence any good, but nonetheless, sort of ditched all ideas of YouTube and focused on my GCSEs. I did perform quite well in my GCSEs, so straight after school I went to college. Didn't do too badly there. I was there when COVID sort of affected us though. But at the time I did go to college, I just sort of knew that I definitely didn't want to go to university. Connections were struggling again, and even what I was doing just, it didn't seem right, or it didn't seem to fulfill me. So after college I knew I wouldn't go to uni and I'd just go straight into employment, possibly to try and start a career in this. Despite pushing all of my dreams of YouTube to one side to focus on doing as well as I can in my GCSEs and A-levels and what have you to get a decent job, I lost my first ever job 11 months in. They just decided that they didn't want me anymore. I'm still a bit bitter about it, but I think my life has definitely been on more of a positive upwards trajectory since then, so at the same time I really do believe that everything happens for a reason, and that was one of those scenarios. And with everything happening for a reason, I had this little niggle in my head that said, maybe YouTube is gonna be for you, so you should probably go out and try it now, right? So that was my thinking. I tried to rebuild my confidence and get another job, and I was gonna put a lot of money from this job just straight into YouTube and pump out great content, hopefully, with some half decent equipment and what have you. But the reality of life got in the way once again, unfortunately, this time. And this time it was in a way which I've never experienced before. Sadly, in June 2023, my granddad passed away, and it was the first passing of a family member of mine. So I've never been through that. I don't really know how to deal with it. A close family member, should I say? So I was mentally struggling, and it just put the brakes on starting my YouTube journey once again. Now, something that you may learn to know as my channel progresses is that I'm a massive Hull City fan supporter. I love the club, and my granddad was the biggest influence behind me supporting the club. He'd always ring me up after I've been to games, asking what I thought of the game and how the team were getting on. And when we weren't at the games, um, we'd spend every Saturday together with my parents working. He and my nana would sort of like be the ones to look after me. We'd spend every Saturday together just watching final score and seeing any goals that we score or let in, unfortunately. In the same respect, I'd also give him a call if I'd done something exciting, such as buying a new shirt or something that I won't show him, maybe discuss how the team's getting on, with me initiating the conversation this time. So yeah, it was really, really good bond, and the club just, Hull City just helped to bring that bond together. My granddad was there for my first ever Hull City game, and yeah, again, I can't thank him enough for making Hull City a part of my DNA. The club has helped me mentally on many different occasions through the escapism that they provide and the entertainment. It's always something to do to take your mind off things, go to a match, and while you're there for the 90 minutes, really just focus on what you're watching. So, again, I, I, I'm so happy that I'm fortunate enough to go to the games, and again, I'd love to play on Hull's pitch one day, hopefully with my granddad watching on above. The shirt I'm wearing now is actually the final Hull City shirt in which I bought my granddad, and I'm very grateful that I managed to buy him his last, as he's the one who bought me my first. So I think it's really nice to have the Hull shirt sort of come full circle within my first one and his last one. With me having such strong love for Hull City, I feel like I do want the club to feature on my channel, whether it supports a certain niche of mine or not. I'm still not really 100% on what my niche is, or if I've got one, what I'm into. Again, football, Hull City, more specifically, and travelling, getting about, seeing things. So certainly more IRL content as opposed to gaming or something that I mentioned earlier. But yeah, I love Hull. It takes up a fair bit of my time. I'm in a full-time job now, thankfully. Get a bit of income in, but yeah, when I'm not at work, nearly a day is taken up with Hull, and I love its feature on the channel. I sort of want to be able to document my journey with the club from this point onwards. Maybe vlog the games or share my opinions on it. Um, I think now would be a pretty good time as well because we're managerless. We've got interim Dawson in charge, but when we get a new manager in, I feel like we'll have somewhat of a fresh start and a clean slate to maybe go off. And yeah, it's something I'm really passionate about, so I feel like it will come across well on camera. My granddad's passing being the first of its kind for me to experience was really hard for me, and as well as supporting my family and having them as support, who I'm extremely grateful for. I've got a very close bond with my family. I knew I had to battle some of this on my own, and I've always been a sheltered kid. Again, that's maybe not a negative thing. I enjoy the feeling of being safe and being looked after. However, that does mean when I try stuff for the first time or try new things, and I've always been like this, I get really, really nervous. Um, so it's trying to push through that and sort of live life despite feeling trapped and held in through this anxiety or element of nervousness. Again, with that said, I knew I had to battle some of this independently, so I tried to use the nervous energy and my granddad's passing as fuel to push myself and really do him proud. Now, what I'm about to say now is going to sound stupid and naive, but before my granddad passed away, I sort of had a sense of invincibility, or like we were living in a simulation, which I know I'm saying it now and I just feel like an idiot, but because nothing's happened for so long, 19, 20 years, it just sort of felt like that in a way. And I know realistically it's not a thing, but I don't know, that's just how it felt, sort of. I suppose I got comfortable and just felt like they were always going to be here forever, but evidently there's been a massive wake up call in telling me that we're not going to be here forever, whether it's yourself or friends, family. We're not going to be here forever. So while you are here, you need to really make the most out of life and live it to the fullest potential. About a week after my granddad's passing, I did my first element of living life, sort of doing what I want to do, despite the fear of doing it, basically. And I went for a walk on a trail which I wanted to do for a long, long time in my local area, but it was sort of out of my local area, and that's where the fear came in. I was further away from home, and I'm a very homely person. I do love home. I like, again, it's probably the comfort thing, the sheltered bit. But nonetheless, I went for this walk and I enjoyed it so much. It was literally one of the best things I've done, and it sort of kick-started me to really do what I want despite having fear, and maybe just push through it. This walking, it pushing me out of my comfort zone, helped me realise a whole new side of myself which I never existed, and again, the highs and peace in which I got from achieving this goal was so good. I, I've not really achieved peace like it again. It was that good. I hope all of you watching this now get to feel that sense of accomplishment and peace that I felt on that day, because I remember it vividly and I think you all deserve it. It is beautiful. It's probably what life's about. I don't know whether it was the natural ancestral feeling that you might get from going on an adventure that caused, I suppose you wouldn't use the word caused, but allowed me to feel this peace and sort of sense of fulfillment within myself. Yeah, I do hope to find that peace one day again, and I've finally found that I am at my best. I feel my best when I'm pushing myself, going out of my comfort zone. I would never have found it without the events of the last 18 months happening. And that's the topic at the moment. It's been a long 18 months of recovery and thinking, overthinking, um, you know, but here I am now. Hopefully this will make it. I technically could have started this channel last football season as it was starting, but I found I just really wanted to take some time for myself without a camera in my face, just to think about things and take things in. I suppose recover is probably the word I'd use there. And again, it's maybe the right thing. Sort of everything happens for a reason, because, like I've touched on, without the elements or the details of the past 18 months, I definitely wouldn't have found out what I have about myself and what makes me happy, what I feel like I'm here to do. Now, you may not have noticed, but if you visit my About page on this channel, I actually created it on the 30th of May. And that's why I say I've tried to record this video twice since. But I'm a perfectionist and the videos have not quite met my criteria. But even this time, I've told myself, ditch the perfectionist thing, throw it away. Because your first video ain't going to be perfect. Your first 10, 20 probably aren't either. You've just got to make a start, and that's what somebody told me in person not so long ago, and I think it's kicked some life into me, really. As well as being told that by somebody, I've been to work today, which I'm thankful for. Again, full-time job. Thankful for the income, and not everybody gets to do this. I'm privileged. However, I was there today, and again, it was another one of them kicks into not necessarily reality, but a kick up the bum. That I need to chase my dreams. This is my dream. That what I'm currently doing isn't. It's pretty saddening and repetitive, and I get a bit of fear thinking that this could be me for the next 40 years. And if I'm honest, I don't really want that. Again, I'm not expecting or wanting this channel to blow up massively. Certainly not in a short time frame, but I would love to get to the point where this can become a full-time job. I want to use this channel to entertain and educate you guys, maybe encourage you as well, to go out there, do the people that you love proud, and live life, achieve what you can in there. It took me a while to discover it for myself, but now I think I've found it at least. I feel 10 times better and more motivated as well. Now, May 30th is an extremely special date to me. It was actually the date of my granddad's birthday, so that is why I wanted to create the channel, at least on that date. I wanted it to be a reminder of him, not a Chinese one, but a celebration of him as well. It was the first year without him here on his birthday this year, so to create the channel then, I think would be a nice way to sort of create a new form of life and use it to celebrate. Certainly in future years, if we hit milestones of being active for 2 years or more, etc., we can use it as an excuse to party and celebrate and remember what my granddad has taught me and allowed me to achieve in life, essentially. So yeah, it means a lot to me, that date. So as much as I'm a perfectionist and I've tried 3 times to make and upload these videos, when a deadline comes, I do tend to stick to it, and that was a deadline that I had in my head. And again, the way I feel at the moment, just sort of, I feel meaningless, to be honest. I don't mean that in a terrible way. I'm pretty mentally stable, thankfully. But I just couldn't afford to wait another year for the May 30th to roll around to create the channel and do bits, etc. So yeah, I don't know. Another thing, I might ramble a bit. I'm going to include it, maybe. I don't know, I might edit this out in the editing process. You don't know, I don't know anyway. Not yet. But I think I'm speaking from the heart. Yes, I've got notes, but I've not got a script, and I think that's important. So I might include bits that I don't need to really include, that you don't need to know about. Again, this is more of a video for me, to be fair, than it is for you guys. Maybe this first video. One to look back on in the future and see where I've come. You know, I'd love to see where I am in 5 years' time. Hopefully, keeping this up. But yeah, we'll see. Again, I've been rambling, but I've looked through my notes again. I do want to bring this up. Another thing about celebrating May 30th is the fact that I want that date or my granddad to become a legacy where, again, it follows on from this channel. I've sort of covered it maybe with a new form of life thing. Yeah, we need to celebrate because without my granddad, well, without that date, my granddad may not have been born. And then without him, I wouldn't have ever discovered how I'm at my happiest and how I feel most fulfilled. I want to use this channel as a drive and motivation to go out and do the stuff that I would never have thought about doing before. You know, the stuff that I want to do at the same time though. It's not even what I never would have thought about before. The stuff that I want to do, I've had in my head for years and just been too scared to do. I want to use this as motivation and again, a deadline, like I say, I'm pretty good with keeping up with deadlines, so I need to stay focused on it and keep it going to make sure that I do achieve what I want to and make the most out of life. I'd also love to make some connections through here. As I've mentioned, school is pretty hard and that's where most people get most of the connections from. So if I could, in the future, do any collabs or, again, just get into contact with people, even if it's digitally, you know, in the DMs, it would be class, I think. And I'd love it. With that said, you'll probably see more of my personality in the future. I hope so anyway. I'm not really showing much of my personality in this video. I've sat with a big background and a lovely picture in which my granddad painted back in 1997 as he signed. Yeah, my personality will probably show in future videos. I'm not saying I've got a great one, that's for you lot to decide, but we'll see. The second biggest thing behind what I've just mentioned about this channel there is to create documented memories that we can look back on. And I say we, me, my family, everybody can look back on. I wish now that I had digital memories like, I say like these, we've not got any content on the channel yet, but like the ones I could be planning to make, you know, holidays and stuff. I wish that I had them when my granddad was still here that I can look back on now. And I don't want my future, well, I say future, I don't want my possibly future kids or family, as well as the current ones, to feel the same way and wishing, in the sense of wishing that they had something that they don't. Um, so yeah, definitely a huge drive for that. Again, I'm quite a sentimental person. I've got memory boxes, this, that, and the other, and I'd love to sort of live in the moment again. I do try and live in the moment at the time, but if I can look back on the moment and sort of live through it again, it'll be great. Have had times in the past when I've watched a video back that I might recorded, whether it's at the football or night out or something, and I just get flooded with emotion, to be honest, because I feel like I'm in that moment again. So yeah, a huge, huge drive is just to create memories and get them recorded. In one sentence, I'd say I'd love this channel to be a bank of happy memories, as well as a bit of motivation to go out and live life. This channel will be a personal journey of my life from now at the age of 21 to however long it lasts. Hopefully a long time yet, but I don't really can't guarantee things, as we've talked about. So yeah, basically just a documentation of my life. I've tried to make it entertaining. Obviously, I do want to try and create and retain an audience. The time that I've got now is time that I need to cherish, but also use to help me live life to my full potential. And again, as long as I stay true to myself and try and do my granddad proud in maybe going on adventures, just exploring. I mean, the world's massive. The furthest I've been, I'm in England. I live in England, in case you can't tell. It's currently December now. It's cold, but hopefully in the summer I'll go places. And the furthest I've ever been is Somerset. And to say I live just south of Yorkshire, that's not very far, is it? I've never left the country, so I'll be looking to do that again. Probably be in my pants, but that's what we're here for. You've got to see the world. It was made. Well, I'm not going into how it was made, but there's some beautiful stuff out there for us to see, and I'd love to. If I do manage to grow an audience, I'd like to inspire, educate, and entertain them. And I also think that growing a bit of a following, well, I don't like to call it following, growing a bit of an audience can help me to really push on. And I do know what I'm trying to say. It can really help me push on to follow my dreams and use YouTube as a drive to do so. So if you'd like to join me on my adventure that is life, please do consider subscribing below. I originally wanted to record this all in May, and I had a trip in June that would have been coming up, but I've been on that trip now, and I can safely say and happily report that it was successful. It was the best thing I've ever done in my life. Um, so I'll have a series of videos on that as the next piece of content on this channel. I hope that that trip was the start of me really pushing on into going to different places and stuff, but again, it's getting the work-life balance right with a full-time job 5 days a week. I've got a whole list of things. Literally, my bucket list is, it's not massive, it's pretty big, and just general stuff that I'd like to do, sites that I'd like to see. I've got a big list of things, so I've had to try and achieve them. But again, it's finding the work-life balance with a full-time job 5 days a week. You sort of only got 2 days to yourself with, what, less than 30 holiday days in a year. So, we'll try though. God loves a try. Or so I've heard. I want these experiences and trips that are going to be raw and real, and I'll leave the highly edited piece of content, which I do believe I can make for certain one-off videos maybe. Finally, I don't know where this channel will take me or how long it's going to function for, but what I do know is that people say the best advice for wanting to chase your dreams is to start, perfectionist or not. So, this is it.